Welcome back everybody to my semi-finals game against DrGaming for the Flying Swiss tournament of February this year. It's now tick 48, the start of the third cycle, and it's not looking good for me at all. So if we have a look at, let's start off with looking at the infrastructure differences. I'm behind by 7 economy. What? Okay, this isn't actually nearly as bad as I thought. I'm behind 7 economy, same banking level, ahead in terraforming. So that roughly evens out a bit, so we're not too far off each other in terms of total economy. In terms of industry, I'm behind by 5. In terms of science, I'm ahead by 6. In terms of ships, I'm behind by 40. And in terms of ship production, I'm behind by about 1.5 ships per tick. So I am behind in the stats that matter, but I'm not behind in everything, and so I've still got a chance, although it does look very slim at this stage. Looking at the center, we can see that my carrier unfortunately won't be able to take that star out. That's not unexpected. I will end up losing that carrier, but that's a loss I have to deal with. These 26 ships will get to the star in time to defend against the 41, but DrGaming can just bring in the 57 ships to guarantee that capture, and I don't have enough ships in the area to recover from that, so that won't last very long for me. I do have 200 ships waiting here to come in. Unfortunately, I don't have any stars within jump range that I can build a warp gate on, so I'm just going to have to move them slowly in, and moving them here is the best choice, I think, because that's the closest star, which means it's the least voyage time for them to be intercepted with. Looking over in the east, it seems that DrGaming went up this way rather than down as I thought, probably because they saw that this star was much better than these stars are, but yeah, that's probably why. Over on this side, I'm about to capture this star, and that won't be unexpected at all because we saw that was going to happen last turn. As to other techs, DrGaming went for an increase in scanning, so they've got much greater visual than I do. I don't think that's going to hurt too much. They'll be able to see this fleet coming in, but there's not much I can do about that, whether or not they had scanning. Okay, I've got my orders done for tick number 48, and it may or may not be clear that I'm playing incredibly conservatively in the hope that I might be able to exploit some mistakes that DrGaming might make to recover my situation at least, somewhat. My carrier here heading this way, I don't know which way DrGaming's carrier has gone, so I'm just going to sit my carrier there, and that way I'll be able to see what's happening on those 2 stars next turn. In the center here, I'm going to lose this carrier, nothing I can do about it. I worked out how many ships I've got here, and I'll have a multiple of 4 plus 2 ships there when DrGaming's fleet comes in. So that's perfect for me to retreat my carrier. That way I'll have a multiple of 4 plus 1 defending this star, which is the optimal number. All the rest of my carriers are being used for transport. These 120 ships, I haven't decided to attack. I've decided to come to this star and sit for the time being, partly because I don't know where to attack, partly because DrGaming will be able to see where I'm going if I launch immediately from there and be able to defend with more time. And partly because if we have a look at my research, I'm doing scanning next. So I'll have manufacturing done in 1 tick, and then I'm going for scanning next, which will be done 4 ticks after that. So I'll have scanning done by my next turn, which allows me to see what's happening with a greater range. So I'll be able to see what's happening on this star, whereas I wouldn't have previously. I'll also be able to see these 2 stars from this one over here. I'll also have a greater range from here. I'll still be able to see these 2, even if I'm stuck garrisoned at this star. So I'll have some good knowledge on the center, being able to see at least these 4 stars, and depending on which stars I capture and retain, even more than that. So I'm not too worried there. Everything else is rather simple. I purchased a carrier on this star here, Parima, so that I could cap these 2 stars, take them and start building on them, although this star, it'll take over a cycle for me to get there and start seeing benefits from it. Okay, so we're now at tick number 54. Let's have a look at what's happening. Okay, we see 6 ships heading into Kita from DrGaming star at Azala, so I will end up losing this star. That's not the best outcome, but it's okay. It's not horrible, it's just not good at all. We see that I lost Minka here. We'll have to have a look at the events to see if my calculations were right. And we see, yes, I had 1 ship left over when I defended that star. And we see that by the time DrGaming brought in another fleet, I produced 2 more. So I was able to successfully retreat this carrier without unnecessary losses. Okay, we can, how close is that? That's not very far away. Okay, we can also see that we've got 38 ships moving this way, 43 moving this way, which means very soon I'll be losing control over this area. My building of an industry here was a very foolish mistake, but I've done it now. And that's another mistake this game I'll have to live with. It'll be interesting looking at how our statistics compare. Okay, so we're mostly equal in technology. I'm ahead in manufacturing though. Behind in industry by a fair amount, 7 industry behind, but my manufacturing lead means that I'm slightly ahead in ship production, which is nice, but that won't last at all. We can also see I'm only 27 ships behind. Is that more or less than last turn? That is less than last turn, so the gap this turn is only 27 ships. Last turn it was a gap of 60 ships, so that's due to combat and my increase in ship lead, my ship production lead, so I'm happy with that. I didn't go too far out there, didn't get too far behind. Although with these ships there, DrGaming can see them come in, and I believe can protect either of these fronts, so that's 11 hours, and that's 4 hours between them. And if we measure this way, that's 10. So yeah, DrGaming can protect either front he wishes from this, so that fleet won't be the easiest to come in. Yeah, so we can see that I will very soon lose control of this front. I have no control over this front, and the center is I've only got 1 star left there. So DrGaming is getting much closer to the required star count, and it looks like there's not much I can do to stop him. There's only 11 stars left. Let's see how long it might take. So he's probably launched from this star by now, but let's assume he hasn't for the sake of worst case scenario, or best case for me. So that's 13. 1 day, 2 hours to get to this star. But he can get this one by the end of the cycle, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stars currently by the end of the cycle. He'll capture this one, 5, 6, 7. Capture this one, 8. Lose this one, so that's back to 7. And then won't be able to capture these ones. That will take 14 hours, so he might choose to come in and take on that one, but I think for now he won't. So that's 7 stars by the end of the cycle. That'll put him 4 stars off winning, and that's not very far at all. And that doesn't give me much room to maneuver, especially since he'll have fleets on all the fronts. But let's have a look at how this will continue to play. So I'll do my turn now, and then I'll bring you back in once I've given all my ships orders. Orders given. So we can see that I have decided to move in with these 200 ships. There's a couple reasons for that. So if I just leave those ships there, they're not doing anything, so I might as well attack. If I were to attack here or here, I know that DrGaming can defend both of those in time, so it doesn't really matter which one it is. So I'm going for this star because it's more valuable. 2 economy, 1 industry, 2 science compared to 1 none and 1. So that's one reason I'm going there. Another reason is I'm hoping that maybe I can just convince DrGaming to build a warp gate there. And I don't know that DrGaming will, but next turn I am going to take my 80 ships I've got from these 2 fleets and send them in this way in the hope that DrGaming does build a warp gate there. And if he does, then maybe I can capture it, and maybe I can do something to play with that to at least annoy him, potentially hold the game, prevent DrGaming from winning for a little while longer. But that's what I've done with those ships. On my other fronts, there's nothing much to see. This carrier's going expanding like it did last turn. I'm moving ships towards the front line. If we have a look at research, I've decided to go for terraforming in 12 hours and then banking after that in 6 hours. So if I do get below enough science, or I think I might get too little science to complete both of them, then I'll switch banking around before terraforming, but hopefully it should work out this way. Okay, so we're now at tick number 60. So I've given my carriers their orders, and I'll just go over the things to note. We can see that this carrier here, I've just told it to sit on Alia for now. That's because I'm not going to get another carrier in time to deal with the ships on this star before DrGaming brings these 40 ships in to attack. So having this carrier here will allow me to sit and prepare and deal with those. I've got these 15 ships dropping off at Lesath. I've got the 55 ships from my home star that are meeting up with the 80 ships that are on this star and the 15 coming in, and they're going to jump this way. So with that, they'll be making huge progress here, and if DrGaming does build a warp gate to defend that star, then I'll have all these ships coming in that'll help me take it over. Moving over to the left side, we've got these 30 ships coming in to attack, well, currently to defend these 28, but probably by the time they get there, it will be to attack DrGaming's fleet. I'm just trying to defend as many of these stars as possible, because if we remember, I need to hold 6 of the frontline stars in order to prevent DrGaming from winning. Finally, my carrier over here, I've told it to head back to my stars because it's not going to be of any use on the front line. I'm not going to build any industry here because it's within DrGaming's territory and it's really easy for them to just capture that, and so it will just be a donation, a gift to DrGaming. And so I'm going to try to retreat my carriers so it can be useful elsewhere, because it's not going to be useful on the front line where it is now. Before we submit the turn, we'll have a look at research. So I haven't lost any science, and it doesn't look like I'm going to lose any science, and there's a small chance I might even gain some science on this star. So I'm very happy with my choice to do terraforming first, complete that in 6 hours, and banking second and complete that in 6 hours. And that will be income boost plus cheaper economy when I purchase that next turn. Okay, so now looking at tick number 66, working across the board, we've got these 6 ships coming to this star here. So it'll definitely be possible for DrGaming to take out those 14 ships next turn, or next cycle at least, if he so chooses. I've got this star well defended at least, 33 ships defending against 25 attacking, so there's no way he's going to get in there. This star here, unfortunately, is looking a little dangerous. 41 ships against 25. 41 will take 9 rounds of defense to kill, so that's, I need 32 ships there to successfully defend, but DrGaming will get there before any reinforcements get there, so that's a lost star to me, unfortunately. Coming to look in the center, got 200 ships landing, but DrGaming has 20, 70, 200, 210 ships defending, so got plenty enough there. I've got an extra 153 coming in. DrGaming can definitely see those, and they're probably not enough to make a difference, but if I'm to have a chance at this, that's what I gotta do, is to attack through there. We've got the 30 ships coming here to the 28. DrGaming hasn't attacked, which means I'll be able to get that safely. We've got 32 ships coming in that way from the warp-gated star here. That was naturally warp-gated because those stars are opposite. They probably came in from the warp gate, it would be here. So could have easily come from here, and then from the back star would have been this star to the home star. Something like that. Maybe took another route, maybe just from all the ships in these stars. This carrier might make it back to safety, which will be nice. And we see that DrGaming warp-gated this star because it wasn't before. I don't know why, but it's something that he's done, and I'll just have to ask him about it after the match. I've completed terraforming, and banking will be done in 6 hours, so I should still be able to get it, even if I do lose this star. Yes, I will be able to get it because that is 6 hours, so I'll be completely fine there. But I will get on to the rest of my turn and bring you back in once we're ready to go. Carriers ordered, economy bought, and I've got a lot more economy now, so I bought about 20 economy, maybe just a bit less than that, but I'm happy with that purchase. Still quite easy for DrGaming to out-purchase me though. Currently ahead in terraforming and manufacturing, so I've still got a nice tech lead, which is making it not all that easy for DrGaming to catch up. Having said that, DrGaming is only 7 stars away from the win, so it's still fairly easy for him to pull it off. Looking at the situation, so I've sent some ships over this way to recapture Alia from DrGaming should he attack. I haven't done anything with my stars back here at home, and haven't done anything on this western side, on the western flank. I get the feeling that DrGaming is hesitating to attack me and rather just waiting for me to resign. I'm not going to do that though, for 2 reasons. The first reason is I may be losing this game, but that doesn't mean I can't learn anything from playing it through. The second reason is it is very easy for DrGaming to pull out the win even if I don't resign. So I said they only need 7 more stars. If I were to count them out, there's 1, 2, 3 stars that DrGaming can go to, all within 12 hours, leaving only 4 required. There's 1 here, and then 2, 3, 4 will give him the win. Or he can bring ships back this way from the fleet of 32, take 1, 2, 3, 4. There's many combinations and it's really easy, and I'd be surprised if DrGaming doesn't win by the end of the next cycle, and I'd expect him to win by halfway through the next cycle.